Finally, on to something new. In this unit, we're going to investigate relationships. But before we do that, we need to look at how do we graph things. And that means we need to review the Cartesian plane. The xy plane is commonly referred to as the Cartesian plane. Okay? It is named after a mathematician who is named René Descartes. Points plotted on the Cartesian plane are called ordered pairs and are written with a bracket, x, comma, y, end bracket. The x value, right here, is called the x coordinate, and it's always written first in the ordered pair. The y value of the point is called the y coordinate, and it's always written second in the ordered pair. Ordered pairs on the Cartesian plane are always labeled using a capital letter. Now the horizontal axis is called the x-axis, and this one's the horizontal one. You'll see the x beside the axis. The vertical axis is called the y-axis, and the point where those two axes cross is called the origin. So the origin is right there. And your x-axis, that's pretty messy. Let's try that again. So your origin is right there where the two axes cross. And your x-axis is the horizontal one. And your y-axis is this vertical axis. Now, when we want to plot points on the Cartesian plane, we do have to follow a process. And the first thing we have to do is decide which way to move, left, right, up, or down. And we always start at the origin. So to plot the point x, y, the x-coordinate tells us how many units to move to the right if it's positive, or to the left if it's negative. And we're starting at the origin and moving left and right. Once we figure the x-coordinate out, we can use the y-coordinate to decide how many units to move up from the x-coordinate if it's positive, or down from the x-coordinate if it's negative. Some important things to remember when you're plotting points in the Cartesian plane is it's important to remember to label the axes and number the scale. Every box on the scale doesn't need to be numbered, but it does have to have exactly the same value for every box on the horizontal axis and every box on the vertical axis. Last thing I want to do before I give you a bit of practice to do is plot some points. Now the point A is 0, 0. So that's right here at the origin. And we label that using a capital letter A. The next point is negative 3, 5. And that's telling us to start at the origin. And the x-coordinate is negative, so it tells me to move left of the origin. And the y-coordinate is positive 5, so it tells me to move 5 points up. Now, the problem with what I'm doing here is I know that I've made everything worth 1 unit each, but we haven't labeled it. So if we count on our axes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can put the number 5 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll put the number 5 over here. And similarly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll put a negative 5. And here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I know what the numbering system is, and so does somebody else who's looking at my work later. So let's try again. The point C is negative 4, 0. The x-coordinate is negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, so I'm going 4 to the left. But the y-coordinate is 0, so I don't need to move up or down. For the point 0, negative 3, the x-coordinate is 0, so there's no left and right movement. The y-coordinate is negative 3, so I get down 1, 2, 3, and I draw the point on the y-axis. For the point E, the x-coordinate is negative 4. It tells me start at the origin, move left, 4, and then the y-coordinate is negative 2, so it tells me to move down 2 from there. Finally, point F. Start at the origin, the x-coordinate is positive 3, so it's telling me to move 3 to the right, but the y-coordinate is negative 4, so I'm going 4 down. And that's all there is to plotting points. So there's lots of practice for you to do in your workbook on page 2.